Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-215-5141. 800-215-5141. That's 800-215-5141.
A former senator has been nominated as the ambassador to the Vatican. Here's USA's Chris Barnes.
And the Biden administration has nominated former Democratic U.S. Senator and Indiana Governor Joe Donnelly to be the next U.S. ambassador to the Vatican. He has years of experience in politics, but Donnelly says he's never even been to the Vatican. He's never met a pope, and he doesn't speak much Italian, but the Senate will now vote on Donnelly's appointment to the Holy See. And from the New England Bureau of USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
The Biden administration has completely turned a blind eye to what's going on at the nation's southern border, and it's time for Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to step down, Representative Ashley Hinson said Friday. There's just been a complete void in leadership, the Iowa Republican said on Newsmax TV's Wake Up America.
There's just been a complete void in leadership. He has repeatedly misled and flat out lied to me and other members of the Homeland Security Appropriations Committee. And I think it's time that we start putting that politics aside. And he, as you mentioned, the Biden administration and what they have done in the past 10 months is completely turned a blind eye to the situation at the border. So every time I've asked questions that the American people deserve answers to.
Hinson added that she hasn't gotten a response about her request concerning Mayorkas, but that's par for the course from an administration that takes months to respond to her. For USA Radio News, I'm Brad Bernards.
Chronicles of Hope is essential reading for seekers of inspiration and spiritual empowerment. This series offers nourishment for those on a path of increased awareness at this challenging time. Inspired by higher sources of wisdom, Chronicles of Hope delivers messages to lift your spirit with a roadmap of hope and guidelines for living a life of expanded consciousness. The guides offer powerful insight for mental, emotional, and spiritual growth at this critical tipping point for humanity. The message is clear. We must change. We have the power to raise our vibrational energy individually and collectively before it's too late. I am Lois Herman, author of the best-selling Chronicles of Hope series and host of the Inspiring Hope radio show at WSMN.live or 95.3 FM. You can find me at loisherman.com or chroniclesofhope.net.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman, a leading expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing. Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Herman.
Good morning and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I am your host, Lois Herman, and I'm here to inspire you with positive messages and celebrate people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on truth, honesty, and integrity, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. I hope you are inspired by today's show. And today, I just want to express what a lovely fall we're having. Here in New England, the weather's been nice, although we had our first frost last night. The leaves have been glorious, and I personally love bringing out colorful scarves, fun socks, warm hats, and snuggly gloves. It's time to protect our physical bodies from the changing weather patterns. Those of us who live in colder climates understand that we don't go outside without appropriate protection. So, Are we also doing what we can to protect our bodies on the inside from seasonal shifts in temperature and increased exposure during the colder seasons? As the hours of sunshine decrease for the winter, we need to increase our intake of vitamins like D and C to boost our energy and enhance our levels of protection. Many understand the importance of regularly taking vitamins and certain supplements. Now it's more important than ever. We need to make a habit of building our immune system with eating healthy, sleeping well, fresh air, simple movement, and increasing the amount of minerals that may be depleted in our bodies. In a few moments, we'll hear from Susan Keefe, a homeopathic expert who will help shed light on what we can do for prevention, protection, and healing this season. I typically work with people to help boost their mental, emotional, and spiritual immune systems by shifting toxic energy that drains us and the negative mind talk that ultimately affects our physical bodies. When we're mired in a downward spiral of stinking thinking, we lower our vibrational energy and can become the target for low-level energies that further deplete our vitality. In Chronicles of Hope, the collective tells us that fear causes sickness to humans, and those who are healthier must drink in the light of positive energy. Fear, being the oldest emotion, was created with all forms of energy and was intended to create balance. Fear is the instinct necessary to protect humans from doing something foolish or harmful. As humans developed intelligence, they forfeited many instincts, yet fear was not one of them. Recently, humanity has been steeped in extreme fear. It's as if a cancer of fear-based negativity has infected us. As this toxic energy spreads, it eats away at healthy lives and erodes the vital flesh of our families. What if we could neutralize this insidious disease and establish a strong, healthy foundation based on positive energy and hope? Fear thoughts lead to worry, stress, anger, insomnia, and addictive behavior, which all typically result in poor health. Many clients see me for issues related to low energy, especially those rooted in fear. When individuals work to raise their vibrational energy through positive thought and hope, they ultimately achieve a state of acceptance and strength through determination, which leads to contentment, peace, and joy. It's up to the individual to actively keep their energy clear and positive by thinking uplifting thoughts, calling on elevated energy through prayer and meditation, and asking for assistance from high-level spirits that surround us. An essential part of any healing process is for the person to take responsibility for their healing. There are infinite types of physical and spiritual practices that resonate with individuals to enhance their energy. Over time, and with consistent effort, people can sustain a lasting change toward healthy energy, a transformation that is so vitally needed across all of humanity right now. It seems that many are struggling with a variety of health issues today. Our physical body is essential to human life, and it's important that we take care of our vessel to sustain health. And in the process, we grow spiritually through the experience. In Chronicles of Hope, Jesus tells us, there is a cure for every disease, and the cure is unique to each individual. There are many who have healed themselves from debilitating illnesses with natural treatments and mental shifts. Timeless remedies are found in nature that were used by indigenous cultures around the world before Big Pharma took over our medical systems. From Native American practices to Celtic cures to Oriental herbal remedies and meridian balancing techniques such as acupuncture, integrating these ancient healing methods as holistic practices will assist us in our healing journey. As we embrace wholesome lifestyle changes, toxic substance avoidance, gentle body movement, homeopathic remedies, Reiki, and mindfulness practices such as hypnosis, we serve to heal ourselves. Natural health experts also explain that eating food grown in the area we live gives us exactly the nutrients we need to sustain ourselves in that season. So eating locally grown food gives us improved health and fortifies us for regional weather based on where we live. For instance, spinach is grown in the spring and helps to dry up dampness in our bodies from exposure to wet weather. Tomatoes grown in summer provide needed moisture when we're dry. Squash and apples that are prolific in the fall give us needed nutrients to sustain our health through the cold winter months. The more seasonal and locally grown food we eat, the healthier our bodies will be. And shopping local is not only good for our community growers, but it has major health benefits for us as consumers, and we're sure going to talk about that in a minute. And we're also communal beings and thrive on being connected with one another in our communities, as well as being connected to higher sources of wisdom. So be sure to implore regular forms of prayer as an invitation to commune with helpful energies of the light. These should be comforting, loving, and above all, positive energies. As you embrace your own method of prayer, you assist in your spiritual health and wellness. There are many forms of prayer, from meditation to chanting or singing or drumming or even dreaming. There are many forms of prayer that some may vocalize. Some may have a quiet conversation in their mind, but it should be spontaneous and uplifting. Spiritual connection could be as simple as a mindful walk in the woods, thanking nature for the air we breathe, acknowledging the trees that give us oxygen and the plants that give us food, and appreciating the birds who share their songs. When people connect with the power of prayer in their own way, they feel less alone, more safe, and experience the magic of miraculous healing. Embracing nature is one of the strongest themes emphasized in the teachings of the collective. When we share the energy of light through prayer, we also receive a dose of amazing energy in return. So I'd like to invite you to please join us in a universal prayer for peace every day, 8 at 8, 1 to 8 minutes at 8 in the morning or in the evening or both, wherever you are. If we each spend a few minutes, morning or night, to send prayer, light, love, gratitude, compassion, hope, and positive energy, we will be a small ripple in this large pond of humanity. Help us send a wave of prayer-filled light that will traverse the world in a continuous cycle. Together, we will make a difference. You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590.live or 95.3 FM. Please help us share these messages. Watch the videos on my Lois Herman Associates YouTube channel or website loisherman.com, and join our Hope community for support and inspiration at chroniclesofhope.net. Please enjoy this song by Coldplay.
Stuck in rivers, and the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace. When you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. And high up above or down below, when you're too in love to let it go. But if you just what you were. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones. I will try to fix you. Tears stream down your face when you lose something you cannot replace. Tears stream down your face and tears stream down your face. I promise you I will learn from your mistakes. Tears stream down your face and lights will guide you home and ignite your bones.
And that was Fix You by Coldplay. And we're going to talk about fixing us, fixing you, helping you. And I am delighted to be joined actually in the studio today by Susan Keefe, a certified homeopath and shamanic practitioner. And she has many thoughts and evidential proofs of what we can do to help our bodies to heal at this critical time in history in our world. So welcome, Susan. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Lois. It is an honor to be here this morning on this beautiful fall day.
Oh, it is beautiful. And we were talking on the way in about the frost on the pumpkin, and we've got to tend our gardens. And you were telling me about your gardens. So I want you to introduce yourself first, just to, who are you? Tell us a little bit about your background, and I want to get back to your gardens.
Oh, goodness. My name is Susan Keefe. I am a certified homeopath and a shamanic practitioner. It is tools that I am honored to hold in my hands, to have to work with clients, and it's just could not be a better place in my life to be right now. I've been doing it for over 10 years now. I'm on the board of directors for the certifying body, so I'm able to give back to who nourished me to get here, and who walks in the door, that's who it's time to work with.
Yeah, and now you live in New Hampshire. Your office is in Massachusetts?
In Georgetown.
Georgetown.
Yes.
Can people only see you in your office, or do you do online visitations as well, consultations as well?
Whatever the client is comfortable with. I've been seeing clients in the office the entire time, except for the first few weeks, and also by Zoom or by phone.
Oh, wonderful. I have lots of followers and friends from Missouri and Virginia and New York, and so they were asking me about how can we get a hold of Susan. So
lovely.
We're going to get your email, or your website is Susan Keefe.
Susan's Homeopathy is the website.
Homeopathy. Awesome.com?
Yes.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit more about how did you get into homeopathy? What's your background? What's your story?
Oh, gosh. It was a change of life career.
Okay.
I had my degree and all that and did what you do. And then I got to a point in my 40s where it was time for me. I raised 4 children. And I thought I've always been a healer in a way. That's been my propensity. So I thought at this point in my life, what can one do with that? And I started to research alternative modalities, and the logic of homeopathy resonated with me very strongly. So I went back to school for 4 years, pre-med classes, 6-hour certification exam.
Wow.
Whole 9 yards. And it's logic. It's very German-based science. The Samuel Hahnemann, who started it, was a German doctor who could not abide by the practices at the time and wanted to find an alternative way to make people healthy. And so in that, with obviously a very long process, he created the homeopathic methods with the remedies.
Tell us a little bit more about what homeopathic remedies and what is homeopathy. A lot of people are not that familiar with it.
The premise is like cures like.
Okay.
What a remedy will engender for symptoms is the symptoms in the client that it will heal. So as a simple example is in the 1970s, they gave ADD kids coffee, like cures like. Coffee, restless, high-strung, nervous, anxious, respiration, can't sleep. Symptoms of coffee very much mirrored the symptoms of the children with the ADD, so they gave them coffee, like cures like. So there are almost now 9,000 different remedies, 8,991, everything from plant to mineral to medications to imponderables. Everything imaginable is a remedy. And my job as a certified homeopath is to sit with a client and get their symptom picture.
Okay.
And the specificity of the symptoms with homeopathy is the key. One can say, I have migraines. There's not one migraine remedy.
Right.
It's, what is your migraine? Well, it starts with a stabbing feeling in the back of my head. There's heat to it. It moves to the front. My eyes become unfocused. I get dizzy. I don't want light. I do want people with me, but don't talk to me. I need warmth. I want to drink cold beverages. The more specific we can get on the symptoms, the closer I can get to the remedy. And then my job at that point is to take those specific symptoms a little bit outside of the normal migraine symptoms people have and draw it down to the what's called the strange, rare, peculiar ones, or real, that's different for a migraine, and match it to the remedy that will create those symptoms. Match it, the potency is a little bit more stronger, and bring it down gradually. It's a very gentle, gradual procedure. And if we need to go up in potency, we need to talk about dosing. It's working together. It's a team thing. Where are we? Is 2 drops enough, or are we dry dosing? Some people are so sensitive, we'll do an olfactory dose, which is actually just wave the vial into their nose.
Just a sniff, yeah.
And that's just as important and viable, which I thought, well, that sounds a little crazy. And then I started having these ultra-sensitive clients come into the office and went, nope, that's exactly what we need to do here. And so that works also. And then follow it through. And the mental emotionals homeopathically are actually more important than the physicals, because as you were saying in your beginning, that they will create the stomach, the tension, the head, the stress, the anger, and all of that. So they are highly marked when we're working with trying to figure out what's the symptom picture that goes with that client, and therefore what remedy do we need.
Wow. I know that there are certain remedies that I go to on a regular basis. One of my favorites is Arnica montana.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah. I used to do ultrasound, and I was I was actually a director level, so I didn't scan all the time. But if one of my staff was out, I would have to pinch hit. So I'm now like a non-conditioned marathon runner, scanning all day. And ultrasound, you're moving your arm, you're up, down. It's very much an athletic job, especially doing the vascular stuff. And I would be in so much pain. And I learned to take my Arnica montana before, during, and after, and I would be pain-free. So that's one of my go-tos is Arnica. So I have several that I know a thimbleful. I know enough to respect it and ask questions. So the homeopathic remedies, is there any contraindication to taking them? I mean, there's no side effects, are there, for most of them?
It's a reaction to the remedy. It's not a side effect per se. It's your body, your vital force, as it's called homeopathically. It's response to the remedy. If you give a potency that's too high, sometimes you can have a stronger reaction, or sometimes if you give the potency that's too low, finding a client's potency is very important also. And then you have to think in terms of there's times when you need a reaction to happen. There's times when things need to get released, need to get removed. So there can be a beginning part of uncomfortableness as you're working through the symptoms to let them go. And in my recognizing that this is part of the healing that's happening right now, and talk to the client, you may have more of a mucosal response or a bowel response, or your stomach, as things go through, you may have a reaction that comes out on your skin. One of the good things that can happen is what's called a return of old symptoms, which, as the remedy's in there, working with your vital force and kicking things out, something may come back that you haven't had in a long time. And we discuss that when the remedy's picked up. And clients are always looking at me, well, that sounds a little odd, like your expression there, that's odd. But then it'll happen. And we'll talk about it. Have you ever had this before? And yes, no, maybe ask, a sibling or a parent if you ever went through this symptom. And the 90% of the time find out, yes, this has happened before. And that's a good thing. That's the body getting in there and pushing it out. A fever may come up. A fever is the immune system's greatest tool.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Do not restrain a fever. Let the immune system fire up and do what it's meant to do. A fever is a gift. If a client can't throw a fever, to me, that's a person that's vital force is very low, and that's worrisome.
Okay.
Getting a client back to be able to throw up a fever is very important sometimes, and depending on what we're working with.
It's like children often run fevers, and it's just they're fighting, their body's fighting something. It's the body's natural way of, there's something in here, all hands on deck. We've got to lift the temperature to fight it, to get it out, to burn it off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. My children's pediatrician told me that 35 years ago. And it's more and more becoming more mainstream knowledge. People like Tylenol. No. Let your body do its work to a certain level. If it gets to a certain level and holds for a certain amount of time, all right, let's bring it down. That's all right. We're here.
Right.
But let the immune system fire out.
The body is amazing. Oh, it truly is an amazing vehicle, just a miracle. It truly is a miracle. And
it's brilliant.
Yes, it really is. And so we need to support our body's brilliance. And back to your garden, we were talking on the way in about the frost. And I'm a perennial gardener, and so my beds are all going to need to be, they've got to go to bed for the winter, and we're going to be out there grooming them all out, getting them to go to sleep. You've got an avid vegetable and berry garden. Tell us about your gardens and how important the local gardening is. I'm sure you know this. This is nothing new for you.
Oh, no. Farm stands, there's a couple local ones which we just absolutely adore. And above and beyond that, supporting the people in the community that are doing this work is very important. We can all run to Market Basket. That's easy. But then they also do carry local produce too, and that's what I'll buy and I happen to be in Market Basket. But the farm stands are critical. And using our own foods, and we've been doing a lot of canning this season, putting stuff up, because canned tomatoes, they taste like sunshine, for God's sakes, and peaches, and oh my goodness, they're just so beautiful. We love our gardening. We've got berry patch, blueberry hedge, raspberries.
Do you have bear that come to your blueberries?
Have not met any bears as yet. Deer.
Deer, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They definitely come.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do have bear in our backyard.
Do
I
you?
live in the country in New Hampshire, and we do have our resident bear or two that comes through, and we just kind of we take pictures.
Good morning.
And that's usually a sign that they're coming through to go hibernate, or in the spring they come through when they're coming out of hibernation. That's a sign. Okay, we stop feeding the birds for a while because we're avid birders. So.
Oh, we are too.
Oh yeah. And I actually have a friend who grows chickens, so I now have a local source of beautiful hen eggs, and they're just so wonderful, and they're raised with so much love. I mean, they're her girls, So it makes a difference when we eat things that are grown with love and care and nurturing and healthy energy. It makes a difference to our vital force. It's all vital energy exchange, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of my favorite clients is a 97-year-old, and I go to her home and sit with her on first thing Tuesday mornings. And just to be part of her process at this time in her life is an honor for me.
Wow.
And she was formerly a Reiki master, yoga teacher, so she understands the energy, and we sit in it together. And I always bring her local organic eggs from a farm that she likes, and that's very nourishing to her. So that's something I love to do.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite remedies that you seem to share on a regular basis? I know it's individual, but there, like I go to my Arnica, Montana. There's a couple of others, but what do you find is something, especially now with stress and anxiety and the fear that's out there? Are there things that you would recommend to people?
Oh Lord, oh that's so much of what's coming in the office right now is fear. Is this COVID, or is this? And we'll look through, and it's talking people off the ledge. No, these are your fall allergy symptoms. Let's look at last year, and this is exactly what we went through last year. This is what we're looking at. No, that's not it. It's the stomach flu that's going around.
Sure.
This, and the relief in feeling that, okay, it's not my deepest fear, that it's, oh yeah, this is my fall allergy symptoms.
Right.
We know what to do with that.
It's just a flu. Yeah.
It's just the flu,
Right.
But also the fear and anxiety and the stress of the whole thing is a big piece. Ignatia is a wonderful remedy for fear with sadness.
Okay.
Nux vomica is a wonderful remedy for fear and anxiety, but more has a propensity to be angry and go into addictive traits.
Okay.
Aconite is a brilliant remedy for shock and fear. Okay. A lot of people are very immobilized right now and just can't get out of their own way.
Yes.
Those are the three ones off the top of my head: the sadness, the anger, or the shock and the fear that will come into the office. Of course, there's many, 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 many others, but those are the three off the top of my head.
Now, most homeopathic remedies, now correct me if I'm wrong, are taken as little tiny pellets sublingually, right? And they're they're just absorbed into the body.
Like when people take nitroglycerin.
Okay.
Same.
Is that a homeopathic?
No.
Oh.
Well, there is a remedy from that, but not that thing.
Not that. Okay. Yeah. So I know that, you put them under your tongue, and you should not have any other type of substance in your mouth. A half an hour before, half an hour after, something like that. You should allow it to be the only thing in your mouth so that it could be readily absorbed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
10 minutes either side of dosing is fine.
All right.
No food, no brushing of teeth. Water's fine.
Okay.
There's a lot of times when I'll say, just put it on your nightstand. When you wake up in the morning, take your dose. If we're just working on a 1 day time of day dosing, and then you're done. Get up and do your thing, and by the time you've got yourself prepared to put something in your mouth for food or something, you've passed your 10-minute point and you're all right.
Right. Yeah, speaking of teeth, we were talking about this earlier. I've recently switched away from traditional fluoride-based toothpaste.
Good for you.
Again, fluoride was what they used in the concentration camps to make everybody compliant. And then they've brought it and put it in our toothpaste, and nobody knows why, really. But anyway, I switched in the water. Yes. Another one of those really things that make you go, But I I switched to baking soda. And what's fascinating is my gums had always been very, very sensitive. And when I would go to have my teeth cleaned, I would brace myself because they would bleed. And this last time I went, I'm waiting, and there's no pain, and there's no blood. And I'm like, wow, it's because my body was not reacting to the chemicals in traditional toothpaste. So just baking soda. There's so many just simple remedies that we can get away from the toxic elements that we ingest, that we absorb in our skin on a regular basis that we're just completely unaware of.
Absolutely true. Baking soda is wonderful for you. My father used to do it, and I thought he was crazy. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yes. Even my dentist, when I said this to her, she said, oh, my goodness, I think it was her mother. My mother, had used only baking soda on her teeth for her whole life, and she had beautiful teeth. So,
and the coconut oil, the pulling.
Tell us a little bit about the oil pulling.
You put a teaspoon in your mouth and swish it. But swish it very well. I think the time frame is about 30 seconds.
Okay.
But the key is not to spit it out into the sink or into the toilet because it can congeal and block pipes.
Okay.
That's really important.
Okay.
Just into a tissue, throw it in the trash, and you whiten your teeth. It's very antibacterial. It's just lovely.
Well, that's the other thing that I switched to. Since I've been diagnosed with being sensitive to my environment, I've been looking at the labels on everything. I'd long looked at the labels on what I took into my body, but I hadn't really thought about what was on the topical things, like even cosmetics, lotions. And I started looking at the face cream and thinking, whoa, what are all those unknown, strange chemicals? So I now use coconut oil. I love it. My skin has never been so soft. And my cats come up and lick me. Because I taste good. They know. Right? It is hysterical. And they will let me pet them if I have coconut oil on. If I've used another kind of, and I have like a lavender-based oil, and I'll go to pet them and they'll back away from me. It's really, they know. Animals know so much more, so I use them as a gauge. Oh, they know I've got the coconut oil on, and they'll let me pet them. It's real. These are my two new quarantine kitties that I used coconut oil to help them clear their ringworm. So they're familiar with the coconut oil, and pretty fascinating.
Animals are fascinating with homeopathy.
Really?
Oh my goodness. I have seen so many videos with horses and other large animals where the homeopathic vet will hold a remedy in each hand and let the animal decide. And the animal knows. It's brilliant. If I'm working, we have this older dog, and she's on all kinds. One for thyroid, one for her postnasal drip, CBD oil for her joints. I mean, she's bowel no-sodes right now for the yeast in her ears. And if I put it in a water dish, and if it's not what she's supposed to take, she knows. And she won't take the water. I'm like, all right, you don't need that today. I completely honor and respect your choice, and we won't do that today. They know.
They do. Oh, animals are so intuitive. Now, are the floral essences, are they considered a homeopathic remedy as well?
The Bach flower essences, not traditional.
Okay. All right.
But same premise.
Okay. Because I had my sweet little girl, Kitty, went into heat. And my holistic vet said, drop a little bit of the Bach flower essence in her ear. And oh my gosh, she calmed right down.
Which one? The rescue remedy?
The rescue remedy.
Oh my God.
Drop it in her ear. Not in her ear, but just rub it on the inside of her earlobe, and it will be absorbed. I guess it's kind of like underneath of our tongue. And so instead of trying to get it in her mouth, just put it on your finger and rub it in her ear. And
that's a great idea.
I know. There's all these little remedies and these little techniques that we should know about, that our grandmothers probably knew. And they've been lost over the years. It's really a shame.
Not in my office. There's rescue remedy and clove oil and propolis and homeopathic eye drops and just things that I know work.
Right.
And as with everything else, I mean, you can suggest something to someone and it'll be good for 70% of the people. The other 30% will say, I had no response.
Right.
it's not what your body needs right now. And Rescue Remedy is a big one. Calms Forte to Sleep is a lovely sleep remedy homeopathically, little blue box.
What is it called again?
Calms Forte.
Okay.
CALMSFORTE. CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, they all carry
I was going to say most of the homeopathic remedies you can get at a holistic food store or something like that. A market in this area. There used to be Earthward, and it's closed down. My heart's broken.
Oh,
but they're over the counter. You don't need a prescription or anything. But they can also Can they get them from you specifically? Do you sell them on your website or through your office?
I sell them through my office, and it's no. I get things as wholesale as I possibly can by buying larger quantity, and I add $1.
Okay.
Because it's not about profit with products.
Right.
It's about try this.
Sure.
See if this works. The best elderberry extract is Maine Medicinals.
Okay.
Phenomenal elderberry extract. And they also have a tincture. It's called Relax and Restore, which is mushroom based, which has been wonderful for so many clients in this climate of the high anxiety. This Relax and Restore is a beautiful product.
Now, there are homeopathic remedies that are like the little pellets that you put under your tongue, but there are also what are called tinctures. And I had gone to a naturopath once, and he did a lot of he called them tinctures. I kind of call them potions. But they are extracts of different things that are made unique for different specific sets of symptoms. So do you actually do the tinctures as well, or?
I do both.
Okay.
There's some clients that I have the tincture bottles, the dropper bottles. Some people it's a spray, or the larger by the teaspoon, and what their remedy is, because some clients will respond better to remedies as a dry dose, a pellet in the mouth, and some clients will respond better to a wet dose. We need a gentler, more regular that we can regulate. So there's the tincture part of it if we're wet dosing, and then there's a dry dose part of it. It depends on what the client needs.
So yeah, this is part of why they need to see you. We just don't go into the store and say, I'm going to take this, this, and this, although we can douse it ourselves. But based on what I've been told about certain things, there's my regular go-tos. Is kava kava, is that an herb that is a homeopathic or not? Because that's another big go-to that I was told once.
I have not used that.
Okay.
So I'm not a supplement person per se.
See. Okay.
There's a couple of, as you said earlier, the C, the D, the zinc.
Yes.
These are critical right now. We all need to keep our immune systems as high as possible. Get good sleep, get outside, walk, journal, get those chaotic thoughts out of your head, spit them out on a piece of paper and let them go.
Right.
The morning pages are a wonderful thing. I have all these blank journals in my office, and if a client needs to release, the thoughts, it's getting everybody all wound up, the recommendation is, and oh my gosh, forgive me for forgetting where this came from. It was a wonderful course of study, and now my brain's blank, that you open up the journal, you write 3 pages every morning. Just put those words down on the paper, let them go, and go through the process, whether you're screaming to start in the words or the sadness. Tears are a phenomenal discharge. And then you close it and you let it go. You don't reread it. Nobody else rereads it. It's just a matter of spitting it out, getting out of your energy field, and going forwards from there. I think journaling is very important. And it's not to be critiqued. It's to be let go.
Right. Yeah, almost burned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. So, are there any remedies that you have come up with, or the people in the homeopathic community have come up with for COVID, for instance? Do you have specific remedies for COVID as well?
Yes. There's a course of study of which I'm certified. It's called homeoprophylaxis.
Okay.
And it is the vaccine alternative homeopathically to the current vaccine schedule. And we work with families, and we start, here's this one, that one, this one, that one, and to bring in the measles, the mumps, the rubella, the pertussis, all that, but in a homeopathic remedy form, so you don't have the adjuncts and the shots. You don't have all the extra things with the shots. And it does what a vaccine is supposed to do, which opens up the immune system to response. So if that disease or virus does come to the person, the immune system says, oh, I know this. We've done this already. I know what to do, and responds appropriately. And in that, in all of this obviously new, because this is a new environment for all of us. A remedy was made from the sputum of 13 people in China who had the COVID virus. Like cures like, we're back to.
Right.
So that has been something under the homeoprophylaxis that we have been using collectively to support people with the symptoms of. Now that's just a piece of the protocol that I've been working with. There's also the symptomatology of the actual virus as it comes through. And homeopathically, this has been a worldwide enormous body of knowledge that was created. One of our primary homeopaths, well-known homeopaths, had a friend who was a doctor in the Wuhan clinic and called him right off the bat when this first started happening, and we didn't even know what was happening yet, and said, listen, something's going on here. We don't know what it is. I want you to know in America what we're seeing, and then they started working back and forth. Well, what do we do with this? In that started this huge international homeopathic response. It's an enormous body of knowledge. Everyone was throwing, these are the symptoms I'm seeing, these are the remedies that are working all over the world. This, that. And in that, as viruses travel, they shift. Symptoms will shift. Like in the beginning, there were no gastrointestinal responses. And then that started coming into it, or this started coming, or this started fading out. So before it even comes to where I am, because they follow a pattern, I know what's coming in by following what's going on that page. Okay, this is what's coming now. All right, let's go. And the remedies that are working with those different stages, we know ahead of time too. All right. And this COVID virus seems to have about a 3-day transition. So the first 3 days of having the virus, if you become symptomatic,
right,
which most people are not even becoming symptomatic, they carry the virus. We have so many viruses in our body. This is how our species has evolved, with viruses and the bacteria. So we'll go through the first 3 days. Here's these symptoms here. All right, where are we now? Okay, here's this, and where are we now? And we finish it up. Long tail COVID, I've worked with, working those symptoms out. And there's an immediate agreement between the client and I. If you can't breathe, you go to the hospital.
Right.
Don't call me first. You get there and you go. No one's going to be hero with this, and this is not going to happen. And I've only had one client so far who's had to go to the hospital. But he had had symptoms since the Monday, didn't tell me until Thursday. I was going away for the weekend and said, listen, I will check my phone, but I'm not going to be in the office. And he just went, that one far too over, and did exactly what I would have said, go now.
Right.
And so once he got back, we've worked on working the long-term effects of the virus out of his system, because the exhaustion, the fatigue, the brain fog is a big piece of all what people are dealing with at the end of this. That's important.
So if somebody has had COVID and they're still struggling with the fatigue, the brain fog, and that, then you have remedies that can help to reboost and to replenish the energy system of the body.
Yes.
Okay, that's
and
good to know.
And the effects of the vaccine also.
Okay, excellent.
A lot of people are having a very strong response to that, and that's been tough.
Yes.
And there's a protocol to nourish the blood, to nourish the immune system, to nourish and get things back. And that's been very helpful.
And even being tested, we're finding that some of the tests have different chemicals on them that certain people are reacting to as well. So you have the ability to help people to reset their body from test. And is that right?
Yes. And absolutely, there's saline spray. It's like 99 cents, the cheap saline spray, or a neti pot. And I know all my clients are rolling their eyes. Here she goes with the neti pot again. It's a fantastic tool.
Yes, it is.
But get the little simple saline spray.
Okay.
and spray your nasal passages before you take it.
I see.
So it's clean, and after you take the test, spray it again and get that stuff out of your nose.
Okay.
It'll neutralize it.
So, saline, what about colloidal silver? I've heard that that's another good thing to neutralize.
That makes sense.
Okay.
I haven't used it, but that makes sense.
Okay.
Some people are also adding some ascorbic acid into it.
Okay.
Vitamin C to neutralize it also.
I know that the homemade HCQ is made with grapefruit rinds and lemon rinds, and just to take as a boost, just to keep your body balanced, because many of us don't necessarily eat as healthy as we should, and so keeping that extra vitamin C in our body is so critical, especially as we're going into what typically we would call cold or flu season.
Right.
So that's really important. You also had said something about depending upon the vax that people got, there's different remedies based on based on which one they got. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting. And I know that, when you're talking about like cures, I remember when I was a kid and somebody in the class would have chickenpox. My mom would say, "Oh, well, you need to get exposed to them so that you can get over it quickly." Mm-hmm. So instead of going into isolation from it, was just like, "Oh, go play with them."
Let's get this over with.
Yeah, exactly. Because when one of us had chickenpox or measles or mumps, all four of us would have it at the same time. And Mom's like, "Okay, we've got a couple of days of chaos, and then it's done." Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The website for the homeoprophylaxis is freeandhealthychildren.org.
Okay.
There are YouTube videos along the right-hand side that show the percentiles of population of the starting to work with this remedy that was done at the time. Again, it's all new, it was all done, here we go, and it was done very well. And there's a lot of good information on that website, freeandhealthychildren.org. Kate Birch, who started this field of study, is brilliant.
So that is for other types of childhood diseases, is that right? So
right.
Instead of getting the different MMR, the different vaccines, you could look to this for the different homeopathic remedies to boost the system to prevent getting the diseases. Is that right?
Right. And the Novus remedy, the one for COVID that we were discussing, is what those YouTube videos are about on the side there.
Okay. It's called Novus.
Novus.
That's an acronym for,
I
don't know. Okay, Novus remedy.
Okay. I probably should know that.
So just so everyone knows, we're talking with Susan Keefe, a homeopathic expert who has lots of information. And how can we find you again?
My office is in Georgetown, Mass. Mm-hmm. My email is susan@susanshomeopathy.com, one word. My office phone is 978-207-1686.
Okay. And you work with people all around the world. Is that right?
I do.
Yeah. Great. So if you're somewhere and you want to speak with someone about, say you've had COVID, but you've got lingering symptoms, reach out to Susan. So you could do phone consults, and then they can go to their local area to get the remedies, and some of them they'll probably be ordering from you. Is that right?
Yeah. Those kind of remedies most people don't have.
I see.
And
okay.
I mail them out.
I see. Okay.
The whole protocol.
Wonderful. And meanwhile, we have to eat healthy, get good sleep, drink good water, have good friends.
Fresh air.
Journal.
Get out the anger.
Yes.
Go throw rocks. Go do what you got to do.
I used to do scream therapy in the car because nobody else could hear you. Just scream. So, and then you're pulling up next to somebody and they're looking at you like, what? But it works.
Yeah.
You just got to get it out so that it doesn't stay inside and cause dis-ease, right? Yeah.
Critical. Tears. Yeah. Lots of tears in my office. Let it go. Discharge. Let them come out.
Good. So anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to share in this last minute?
Oh my gosh, already?
Already, it goes so fast.
Love and light.
Yeah.
We have to live in the love and light. We can't, the chaos is loud, and it's loud because it's trying to overshadow the love and the light. The love and the light is stronger. The love and the light will win. Just hold on. Just hold on, and it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay.
And that's why we decided to start this 8 at 8 prayer. You know, whether it's just sitting there holding light, just thinking light, just watching your birds, doing something to lift your energy for 1 to 8 minutes at 8 and 8. And it'll just, no matter where you're at, just continue that love and light around the world. We've got to. We will. We are winning. The light is winning. And so what's happening is the darkness is exacerbating because it's sort of like they're cornered. And they're going to do the last ditch effort, and it doesn't matter. We could just send them love and light too. They don't like it.
They do not.
They don't like the light, so just send it to them. You know, and that will shift. And hopefully they'll shift. That's the key. Is some of these ones that are so intent on causing harm. Just it's really a shame. So we've got to hold on to humanity. Hold on to the love and light and the companionship. And I've met such fascinating people on this journey. So until next week, everyone, please look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. God bless.
Thank you.